everyone, it's Nicole from Nicole Loves Nails. Welcome to my channel. So this is going to be the final voiceover only video. Next week's videos are going to go back to my normal style of video. So today's video is for the Essie Expressie Word on the Street collection. The Expressie line is Essie's version of a quick dry nail polish line. I wasn't too sure if I wanted to review this line, but I did a poll. Folks said yes to review the line. So here we are. I have 6 polishes to share. I did purchase these polishes from the Ulta website. I have seen these pop up in other places. As per usual, I will have links in the description box if you want to pick these ones up, but they also are available in store. Let's get into the video. The first polish we have is Spray It to Say It. Essie describes this one as a mid-tone berry red with yellow undertones. This polish had a really fantastic formula. I was particularly surprised and shocked at how opaque this one was. It was just shy of being a one coater on me. I do think if you go in for thicker coats or have significantly shorter nails than I do, this would be a one coater, but I never do one coat of anything, so whatevs. This applied buttery smooth, absolutely fantastic. As someone who does not generally enjoy berry shades, I did find that I really liked how this one looked on my nails. I don't really see anyone needing more than 2 coats of this one. Everything about it was absolutely perfect. So here it is in 2 coats plus glossy top coat. This polish does have a fantastic formula. It is not at all a unique shade. It is very, very close to Zoya's Ono, which I have here in the comparison. Spray It to Say It has a very slight, more muted, almost a hint of duskiness to it that Ono doesn't have. But I do think in a lot of light sources, these will look exactly the same, so I don't think you need both of them. Next up, we have Word on the Street. Essie described this one as a bright sky blue cream. So this polish had an okay formula. It was very thin and very streaky. It wasn't quite thin enough that I would say it was watery, but like it was close. If you try to use this one in thicker coats, it will definitely flood and just be an all-around terrible thing to work with. Definitely going for thin coats. However, sadly, that does make this one a 3-coater. Admittedly, I am very picky when it comes to cream finishes and seeing any kind of light spots or dark spots on my nails. So maybe if you aren't as picky as I am, you could say it's passable in 2. But like it was unacceptably patchy for me in 2 coats. My complaints aside, this actually still was one of my favorite polishes from the release, even though it was a 3-coater. It's just such a bright and fun color that like I couldn't not like it. It was still really pretty. So I did attempt to do comparisons for this polish. However, the day I was doing swatches for this one was one of the days where I was very sick, between having a very mild fever and then being under the effects of my cough medicine interacting with my normal medication. I was very loopy and basically out of my mind. A very vague recollection of what I remember thinking I was going to compare to these, but I can't actually remember specifically if those are the ones that I actually went with. Names for the polishes that I think I pulled out on the screen, but I can't remember which order I put them on in or just anything. Like, again, I was out of my mind. Next up, we have World as a Canvas, which Essie describes as a soft gray with violet undertones. It's the first polish in the release that I swatched, and I was nervous. It is very thin, it is very streaky, it is almost watery in application. Application wasn't necessarily difficult, but I just felt like this one was so thin and streaky. It is not at all like the creams that I've gotten used to from this brand. I opted to float my brush as I was applying this one, and I found with my careful application, I did need 3 coats to cover up any dark spots on my nails, which again, I'm not super happy about. Pretty disappointing, to be honest. Kind of feeling burnt out on gray creams, which is unusual for me because usually I always really love those. But I just feel like there have been so many purple toned gray creams released in the past few months that like I'm over it. I don't want to see another one. And here is a comparison. I found this one next to a gray, it looks very purple, and next to a purple, it looks gray. Now we have Outside the Lines, which Essie describes as a deep yellow with a strong orange undertone. So this polish had a significantly thicker formula. I found application very easy. It was still very streaky, but that's not surprising at all given this is a very beautiful yellow shade. As far as the shade of yellow goes, I wouldn't call it mac and cheese yellow. I wouldn't call it like turmeric yellow. It's golden. It's not mustard. I feel like calling it like a goldenrod yellow would probably suit it well. My brain is very foggy on what was going on with me that day other than feeling very sick. So I don't have like my normal indoor shot, but I did get it outside before it started to rain. So that is 3 coats of Outside the Lines. Next up, we have Send a Message, which Essie describes as, and I quote, a classic fiery red with black undertones. I really wish I knew what on earth a black undertone was. I feel like that description makes this sound like it should be like a brick red or something darker. It's not. It's a very vibrant, bright red. It's like a classic red, basically. It does not feel like a seasonal red by any means though. This has that very squishy, cruddy-like feel some red creams tend to have, which makes it a little bit less opaque than I would personally like. I swatched this one in 2 coats and I did have hints of visible nail line with it. This is a really beautiful red shade and I'm starting to feel like I need to stop saying that I don't like reds because I loved how this one looked on me. And the final polish is called Unapologetic Icon. Essie describes this one as a crisp canvas white cream. Unapologetic Icon had a very streaky formula. I wouldn't say it was a bad formula. I tend to expect white creams to be on the streaky side, but this one did seem to dry down significantly more sheer than it applied, so I do think this one is going to be a 3-coater. Like, there were just, again, an unacceptable amount of dark spots in 2 coats for me personally to say this was a 2-coater. I feel like next to an actual white polish, this one looks a little bit dingy. I'm not really a fan of white creams, and I'm definitely not a fan of like a dingy white cream. And I did find that in 3 coats, once it dried down, I still had a bunch of dark spots on my nail, so I was just not a fan of this one. So that is it for the Word on the Street collection from Expressie by Essie. I was not really a fan of this collection. I did really like the blue polish, but other than that, none of the colors in this release were particularly exciting. I feel like between the berry, the gray, and the red, like we keep seeing these same exact colors over and over again, and it really makes me want to scream. I also don't love the price point on these. These are 10 ml bottles and they're priced at $10, which is a smaller size bottle than Essie's normal polishes, and I just don't see any differences in these polishes from Essie's normal line to justify the higher price point. The Expressie line does feature a slightly different brush than Essie's normal line. Essie calls it angled, I say it is crooked. Allegedly, it is supposed to make painting your nails easier by doing your left hand and your right hand. I found it kind of the opposite. Like, I wouldn't say it was difficult to apply, it just took a little bit getting used to. I kind of feel like trying to reinvent the nail polish brush is kind of like trying to reinvent the fork. It doesn't need to happen. So those are my thoughts. I would love to hear everyone else's thoughts on this release. Like, have you tried this line? I would love to know. Have a great weekend. I'll see you all this Sunday on the live stream, and just have a great weekend. Bye.